Hi there, so this video is a review of the touchscreen on the Ford Tourneo Courier Titanium, or it's an option on the lower spec Z-Tech and Combi models as well. So I'll just turn the touchscreen on now. So this is the default home screen where you have the sat-nav on the left, the radio display up there and your phone stuff if you've got one connected down there. So if you go into the audio, it obviously turns the radio on to start with. If I press audio, I can get a full screen view of the radio. So we're on the DAB radio at the moment, and we've got some presets I've programmed along the bottom here. You basically program them much as you would on a conventional radio by pressing and holding the preset to save whatever you're tuned to at the time. Up here you've got traffic announcements which are turned on. And then if I want to retune the radio, I've got various ways I can do that. With the buttons on the steering wheel, the left and right buttons, they cycle through the presets. Whereas the buttons on here do like a scan tune. Find the next station, or the knob here is like a manual tune, which makes more sense on AM or FM than it does on DAB because no one really engages with these funny numbers. So if we wanted to change to FM or AM, we can press sources and then press FM. So again, same sort of thing happens with the buttons. The ones on the steering wheel take me through the presets. These ones you can then see it tuning now on FM. And this tunes it by frequency. You can also type in a frequency by pressing the frequency button. So what would I have on there? FM, my mind's gone blank. 99.9. Enter. Or we can get a list of stations by pressing stations. There is a slight bug on AM. If we go to AM here, that if we select a long wave frequency, such as it's on radio 4198 at the moment, you can see there's no frequency displayed. And then if we start tuning, again no frequency, till we get to the next one that's a preset. And the same is true if we do the scan tuning. Then it eventually gets to medium wave and it all bursts into action. But basically while it's going through the long wave frequencies, it is actually tuning, but you can't see anything until you save it as a preset. Then there are some options for the radio which you'll find in settings. So we press settings, and then I can't remember where they are now. Oh, well, you've got your sound settings, which are like your frequency and stuff, which you can also access by pressing this button here. I don't know why it needs a special button all on its own. Yeah, so if you go into radio settings, you can turn traffic announcements and news announcements on and off. Turn radio text, which I thought was on, etc. So that's pretty much the radio. Oh, and this play pause button when you're on the radio mutes the radio. So I haven't really dealt with the phone, so I'm not going to review that. Also in settings you've got some other stuff. The clock you can sync to the GPS. The general settings are just things like measurement units. There's a second page of settings here. Emergency assistance phones the emergency services if your airbags go off. Vehicle settings, they're quite interesting to see. You can turn the traction control on and off as well as using the button down here. There's a button up there so you can do it remotely without even touching the screen. Like hill start assist, which stops you rolling back. Rain sensor changes the wipers. It's back to the conventional way. So on conventional you can set the speed of the intermittent wipe by turning this knob, whereas if rain sensor was on, that knob sets how much rain you need before they start going. Camera settings for your rear view camera, if you've got one, you can increase the delay to make it before it turns off. So it's quite interesting that you can turn the rain sensor off because that wasn't in the manual. Display, so you can change it to different backgrounds, change the brightness, and you can change it so it's either a day or night theme, or it automatically changes between the two depending on the ambient light if you've got auto on. But the most interesting thing is the sat nav, and this didn't work when I first had it. There was a software fault, but I found it's really easy to use. So what can I show you? So to program where you're going, oh yes, that's nice that after a while it gets rid of all those buttons so you've got a really full screen. So there's different ways you can program it. So one way, if you don't know the postcode or whatever for where you're going, you can just scroll around the map and then press start. And it will calculate my route. Or I can...
Please proceed to the highlighted route and then the route guidance will start.
So I can cancel that route. So I can search for my destination if I want. So if I knew the postcode, I can enter a postcode, and you have to enter, you have to put a space between the first and second half of the postcode. And you can see it comes up with matches. So once it's come up with a match you like, you can press it. And you can press search. And then you can get it to calculate that route. And it's quite quick to calculate, and also quite quick to reroute if you go off the route while you're driving. You can see it comes up with different route options: fastest, shortest and eco. And you can change these in settings as well. When you're actually driving, you get the current speed limit appears on the screen.
Please proceed to the highlighted route and then the route guidance will start.
Either here in this mode, or if you're on the full screen map mode, the speed limit appears down here. Which is really good. It doesn't show you that in any of the Ford literature, so that's quite a good surprise. But it doesn't tell you if you're going over the speed limit, which is a shame, because it'd be really good if you could link it to the speed limiter or something like that. So I haven't actually used this that much. You can zoom in and out on the map. You can change the map views by pressing on the arrow, so you can have like a oblique view, north at the top view, or where you're heading on the top. There are various other menus you can have, so you can have things like points of interest on the screen. You can get a list of nearby traffic, or traffic that's on the route, traffic warnings, narrow lanes roadworks on the M5. You can get it to tell you where you are. I'm in Torquay. So it's pretty good, I think. I mean, it's really easy to use, and it does most of the things you want it to, compared to my 10 or 12-year-old TomTom I had before, which got on eBay, which was very good, but eventually it succumbed to the weak number rollover bug last year. in 2019 and wouldn't pick up a signal reliably after that. As I said, my sat-nav on this didn't work originally, and that was a software fault that they had to correct. The garage had to have it in for a software update. Thanks for watching.